Hello, beautiful people. This is Freedom Fighter. Thank you for tuning into our channel, Goldilocks Global Banking News. Everybody knows that Goldilocks is the number one source for the RVGCR. People from around the world tune in to see what Goldilocks is sharing on the RVGCR. Don't miss your chance and get your latest updates every day. So like, share, and subscribe to this channel to get your daily podcast from the Goldilocks articles on the RVGCR. Brought to you by Freedom Fighter. Hello, beautiful people. This is Freedom Fighter, and welcome to Goldilocks Global Banking News. I am your host. Fine folks, today Goldilocks is sharing from Iraq directly that Iraq is announcing that they have integrated all of their banks into the global correspondent banking system, routing all international transactions. All of Iraq's international transactions are now linked to the international correspondent banks that will be responsible for moving the dinar throughout the global banking system. This move, endorsed by the IMF, the International Monetary Fund, it ends reliance for Iraq on their local central bank auctions. What this does, it aligns Iraq's financial infrastructure with the global banking system. Yes, the international anti-money laundering restrictions, the sanctions, the compliance standards, everything. See, previously, Iraq's dollar-dependent economy is what was a part of choking the value of the Iraqi dinar, fueled by only oil exports that were only in U.S. dollars. The Iraq government made a very concerted effort to begin the process of diversifying Iraq's revenues into areas other than oil. This is one of the key parts of Iraq being able to revalue the Iraqi dinar, because just like the late Dr. Shabibi, the former CBI governor, in his 2012 white paper economic reform plan, he stated that the Iraqi dinar must be stable in order for the dinar to revalue. This step right here, the announcement that Iraq has made, that they have fully connected to the international banks, will stabilize the dinar in preparation for the revaluation of the dinar. Goldilocks is also sharing how that stability in the dinar is going to trigger the revaluation. As Iraq navigates this transition amid robust oil revenues and falling inflation, the reforms implemented by the CBI signal a maturing Iraq, a maturing economy poised for stability. And ladies and gentlemen, as they are poised for stability, they are poised for the revaluation of the Iraqi dinar. Yet challenges do remain, including broadening ties with non-U.S. banks to mitigate international geopolitical risk. Iraq is setting themselves up for the revaluation of the dinar. If sustained, this banking evolution could narrow the official parallel dinar rate internally within Iraq and separate it far from the international rate, which will allow it to grow, the value of the dinar to grow significantly. The governor of the central bank just 2 days ago released a statement stating this, and these are the clear takeaways from what the governor of the central bank announced. And before I mention these key points that Goldilocks is sharing by the CBI governor, I want to remind you that it is the CBI that controls the value of the Iraqi dinar. It is the CBI that will be responsible for announcing the new rate of the Iraqi dinar. It is not from any other place but the CBI, the Central Bank of Iraq. The central bank of every currency that we hold. The central bank for every country and their currency. It is the central bank that controls the rate. If you are thinking that it is any other source, any other person, any other entity, any other human, any other alien, robot, doesn't matter. No, it is the central bank that governs and controls the rate. These are the key points the central bank governor mentioned about the dinar and its revaluation. He stated that these are the positive developments towards the strengthening of the Iraqi dinar that will lead to its revaluation. The banking sector reforms. Number one, the CBI views comprehensive banking reform as the foundation for the economic stability of the Iraqi dinar. That's number one. Number two, the Oliver Wyman, this is the international consulting firm. They have engaged heavily with Iraq, with global consulting for them to, number one, gain accession into the World Trade Organization in following the guidelines. They also have triggered by the U.S. the restrictions to make sure that restrictions are no longer on the Iraqi dinar. 2, 3. The goal is deep structural reform to meet international compliance. This international compliance sends a signal to all of the international banks around the globe and allows them to know that the Iraqi dinar is strong and ready. The anti-money laundering and anti-terrorism restrictions and rules are active. Number 3, pathway for restricted banks. See, there are some banks that are restricted in utilizing the dinar, but the central bank governor is saying there's a pathway now for those restricted banks to begin to use the Iraqi dinar. Therefore, ladies and gentlemen, this will allow the dinar to be stronger internationally. Therefore, the rate can begin to move internationally as supply and demand for it increases in the global banking system and on the water. The governor of the Central Bank of Iraq gave the clearest public assurance yet that banks currently banned from dollar transactions will be allowed to resume normal operations with the dinar based on agreed upon reforms. 4, all Iraqi banks have signed these agreements. Universal buy-in from the banking sector. Next, a phased re-entry into foreign currency dealing. A phased re-entry is, when I think of when I hate to even think of this, is what comes to mind when the United States went into invade Iraq, and then years later down the line there was the argument amongst the president, I believe at the time, George Bush, who talked about and Donald Rumsfeld, a precipitous withdrawal of the U.S. troops out of Iraq, a phased withdrawal. So what this is speaking of in this phased re-entry of foreign currency is a precipitous rephasing or a phasing effort of the dinar into the international banking system, where it will not be a poof, the dinar is just blank all into every bank, but a phased approach so that banks can begin to integrate the dinar into the international banking system. Next, close international oversight. There will be a very close international oversight of the dinar in all of the banks around the world. This process is being actively monitored by international institutions such as the U.S. Treasury. Then there's the digital transformation, the digital dinar, which is officially confirmed and underway. This is all from the CBI. Very important. Next, exchange rate and monetary policy. Strong reaffirmation that the CBI will not devalue the Iraqi dinar, but they will keep the official exchange rate stable and present it as a major policy success so that the international banking system will be more receptive to it along with the reforms. Explicit rejection of using devaluation as a quick fix. Folks, the central bank governor is letting it be known publicly in writing that they will not devalue the Iraqi dinar. Instead, they will push forward with the structural reforms that will increase the value of the dinar. Bottom line is this, Goldilocks is stating. This is one of the most explicit and reassuring statements directly from the CBI. There are 3 key points. 1, ending the dollar ban crisis. 2, ruling out near-term dinar devaluation. 3, committing to international standard banking reforms under the consulting group of Oliver Wyman, who is the consulting firm for the World Trade Organization. So what Goldilocks is also stating is that for investors, these reforms are happening, but stability of the dinar and eventual full reintegration of their banking sector into the international globe is their ultimate goal. This is their goal. Iraq is stating their goal is to integrate into the international banking system. So what Goldilocks is stating is that this is very telling. Here we have the foundation of the dinar to revalue, whereby the central bank in itself is making a profound announcement, the governor making a profound direct announcement that they want to integrate into the international banking system. All that means, ladies and gentlemen, is that they want to make sure the dinar is integrated into the banking system. All they're saying is they want to make sure the dinar is prepared to revalue. A part of this is what they've allowed even an announcement to where they have announced yet another. Here they have another bank within Iraq, a major bank within Iraq that Iraq has announced they're allowing to utilize the dinar in foreign currency exchanges, and they have given this bank a Class A license, Category A license, to utilize to transact in the dinar. And a Category A license, folks, is the prerequisite for international status. Category A status. This is the highest tier under the CBI regulations that grants privileges and licenses, including international transfers and dealings in multiple currencies. Therefore, this particular one, ladies and gentlemen, is for the Iraqi dinar. This licensing framework is established to enhance oversight and stability. It distinguishes this specific foreign currency exchange transactions from this bank as a tier 1 firm to transact the dinar. The move addresses long-standing challenges in Iraq's banking system, where sanctions and geopolitical tensions have restricted access to global networks. By Iraq providing the license to this banking institution, they will also connect to the international banking system, utilizing the dinar to move internationally. This is yet another explicit, direct announcement. These partnerships allow seamless foreign currency exchanges in the dinar, trade settlements of the dinar, and liquidity access through established international banks. Folks, industry experts view this as a boom for economic recovery in Iraq. This bank that will now utilize the dinar, transact the dinar, will facilitate smoother integration into the SWIFT system and the new international digital banking system. That is a quote from the CBI. With Iraq's oil-driven economy eyeing diversification into other investments, this will allow the dinar to move throughout the international banking system and open foreign investors to even be more attracted to investing in Iraq, boosting the value and the rate of the Iraqi dinar. This is something that we've been watching and paying attention to for quite some time and didn't want to mention it. But now it's here. We see it. And directly from the CBI, where the CBI governor is quoting of stating how the dinar is now prepared to smoothly integrate in the international banking system through SWIFT, which also, ladies and gentlemen, the SWIFT system is compliant with ISO 222, which is how our exchanges will be completed in the new digital banking system. So here we have, directly from the CBI, the actual source in black and white, letting it be known that the dinar will be stronger and will revalue based on the steps they've just made and more they will continue to make. Stay grounded, ladies and gentlemen. It's getting better every single day. We love you. Ciao.
Hello, beautiful people. This is Freedom Fighter. Thank you for tuning into our channel, Goldilocks Global Banking News. Everybody knows that Goldilocks is the #1 source for the RVGCR. People from around the world tune in to see what Goldilocks is sharing on the RVGCR. Don't miss your chance and get your latest updates every day. So like, share, and subscribe to this channel to get your daily podcast from the Goldilocks articles on the RVGCR. Brought to you by Freedom Fighter.